Hey guys, Ceph Nightmare here. I'm going to be talking to you today about Watch Dogs. I've been playing this for a long time, and although this review might be late, I still want to do it because, well, I like talking about it. So, yeah, let's get started. So, if you don't know Watch Dogs, really? That's new. Either way, it's an open world game, and it's surrounding hacking and everything, and surveillance and everything that has to do with it. It's a huge game. It has a lot of content and a lot of fun content, in my opinion, as well. It's a good game, but it's a bit controversial when we look at vertical slices and how the major publishers these days want to shove that down our throats, saying this is how it's gonna look, and then deliver us something completely different and just hype us up for not really. But about the game itself, it has fun content, but it does lack some immersive content. The immersion factor fluctuates a lot, in my opinion. Some missions, I think, for example, the chases and like criminal convoys, they feel like I'm in this game more so than others, such as Crime Detected and Gang Hideouts. Those feel a bit too video gamey. That's the term usually used by Zero Punctuation, by Yahtzee, but I think it applies, in my opinion. There's so much stuff to do, but it feels like it's too centered around you and not just it being a world where you take place in, where something happens with you. It's just a world built for you. So, the gameplay, what's it surrounding? Well, it's surrounding hacking. You probably know this by now. It's a very violent game, almost too much for its own good. It has a lot of fun content, as I said before, and the gameplay is very solid. But my problem with it is that sometimes you feel a bit out of proportion. The way you just take out massive amounts of gang hideouts and guys only to knock down the leader of them is a bit, weird. I'll give you a clear example. There was this gang hideout, and it's probably like this near this haven, and I had to knock down this guy. That means not killing him, that just means knocking him unconscious to send a message or something. But while doing that, I was taking out every one of his henchmen. Just blood everywhere, basically. There's nothing left of those guys, but I had to gently knock him down and say, "Don't do that again, young man," to, the leader. And I think that's a bit weird, and it's a bit inconsistent, but the gameplay itself is very solid. The way you slow down makes it a bit easy sometimes, but sometimes it's even necessary, because there are some guys you just take out with one shot very easily, and there are some that take, a lot of shots before they die. And that does give a bit of variety, but it's inconsistent. Either way, the way you just walk around and you sneak around is fun. I gotta say, it is really fun to sort of try to pop these guys one by one, and you just you hear them talk. Obviously, that's just the way the video game works, and yeah, they seem scared, and that's fun to do. Just to be this shadow almost, instead of this guy just going around and killing everyone one by one. What's also really fun is car chases and driving in general. I think that's a really solid part of this game. They did that really well, although sometimes I've been driving through packs of civilians without even me wanting to, and that affects this sort of bar which says vigilante. It's like this morality bar, basically, but it's weird, to say the least, in my opinion. Apparently, what it's supposed to do, it's when you are like a really good guy, high moral standard, basically. The civilians are less likely to call the cops when you, like, for example, hijack their car. Just like you throw them out and you drive away. Sometimes they start to call the police. This is quickly circumvented, though, by using jam comms, which basically disables their ability to call the police when they start calling the police. So there's no real impact there, and I don't think that was really necessary. Maybe they wanted to keep you on your toes in that regard, but they could have made that more interesting. Yeah, there's some mini games as well involved. There's this pipeline, and at the start I didn't think much of it. I thought it was just one of those crappy mini games to just get somewhere quickly, but at some point, it gets more challenging. Not super difficult, but at least at least some thought went into it, especially at the final parts of the game. And that leaves me with the multiplayer. The multiplayer is fun in my opinion as well. I haven't tried every single mode. I have tried online tailing, hacking, and online decryption, and the mobile version, but not me playing mobile, but me challenging this mobile guy. And it's been fun. The hacking has been a lot of fun, although sometimes I feel it's a bit weird. I don't know, I prefer the online decryption. That's basically 4v4, and what you do is you get this file and you retrieve it, and then you try to keep it for as long as you can. Now they can retrieve the file by standing in the vicinity near you or in a car in the vicinity near you, and the one that has the file when it gets to 100% wins. That's basically how it works. But there's a balance problem in my opinion there, because when you get the file, and for example, let's say for example I have kept the file since the start, and I managed to keep it until 99% completion, and I die and the enemy gets it, they will win. Basically, it doesn't matter all the effort I did. Sorry about that. They will basically win. They had it for 5 seconds and they will win the game. I think that's a bit cheap. I can also understand it, that keeps the tension going, and that keeps it interesting for both parties, even if one party is a bit less skilled than the other. But it doesn't feel nice when that happens to you, I can tell you that much. Online tailing, also a lot of fun. Mobile thing is also a lot of fun. The mobile game is basically one guy on a tablet or any other mobile device will just tap certain things. They can rig, so the moment you drive past them, they will detonate. There's, for example, a steam pipe which detonates, which does massive damage to your car. So you really have to be careful while driving. They can use SUVs, police SUVs, to go after you. And yeah, it's intense. It's more difficult than I thought it would be, actually. Sometimes it's not that difficult because these guys don't really know what they're doing, and they are triggering stuff miles away. But sometimes, they make it really difficult for you to get towards a certain checkpoint within a time limit. So the only thing I still have to talk about is the story. Now, the story, I don't particularly care for it too much. I feel this is just a bit of a crutch to keep the gameplay going. It does have very good voice actors and some interesting characters. However, Aiden Pierce, which is the main character, is just, well, a ghost. He's not really a character at all, in my opinion. But the story itself, it's convoluted. But okay, I can deal with it, as long as it keeps the pace going and keeps the missions going, and there's a lot of stuff to do outside of this main story, so I don't really care too much. But I can understand if some guy really wants a good story out of this, for example, morally, I would get that. I would understand why they might not buy this game on launch. This leaves me with the final conclusion. I think we're just gonna go with one digit, and that's an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good game. It's not what it promised us at the start, visually anyways, and they could have refined some things better. They will probably do that in the future with their new games, because Ubisoft already said that they will not make a game if they cannot make a franchise out of it. So there's definitely going to be a franchise from Watch Dogs, maybe even tie in with Assassin's Creed, you never know. But in general, it's a good game. I bought it at launch, and I think it's worth my money. I spent a lot of hours into it, and I'm planning to spend a lot more in the Watch Dogs world. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you subscribe to this channel, and watch out for more gameplays, reviews, commentaries, and everything that's surrounding it, especially with E3 coming around the corner. So on that note, I will see you guys later.